Welcome to the NPC Energy, the weekly transmission. That kind of makes you wonder if your life's running on rails and, maybe that deja vu is just a rendering glitch.
Exactly. We dive deep into that feeling that maybe reality isn't quite solid.
And for this particular simulated journey, we're tackling a massive text. I mean, huge. The Bible.
But not in the usual way, right? We're not here for theology tonight.
Nope. Forget Sunday school for a sec. We're looking at this like we found an old floppy disk, maybe? Could the Bible be like the original instruction manual? Or patch notes for Reality 1.0?
Or even a dossier, maybe, left behind by the programmers. Hints about the simulation itself.
It sounds wild, but the simulation hypothesis, I mean, our reality is just code. It's got legs these days.
Oh, yeah. People like Nick Bostrom, the philosopher, and tech guys like Elon Musk, they've seriously kicked this idea around.
Really makes you ask the big question. Are we base reality, or are we, living in some super high-res version of The Sims?
So that's our approach for this simulated journey. We're not debating faith. We're treating the Bible like a potential data cache. Looking for clues.
Like cheat codes, admin logs, glitches.
Maybe even fingerprints of the developers, yeah. Things hidden in the narrative.
Okay, so where do we start? Got to be Genesis, right?
Yeah.
Chapter 1, the ultimate origin story. 6 days of creation, 7th day rest.
And people have argued for centuries about those days. Are they literal 24-hour periods or vast ages? Or just like symbolic stages?
It's funny because that whole debate kind of mirrors the simulation question itself, doesn't it? Is reality literal moment by moment? Or is it constructed, a simulation?
That's a great point. It's like, are you insisting on the literal pixels or are you trying to understand the underlying rendering engine?
Right. So let's try that. Let's read Genesis 1, not as history, but like the universe's loading sequence, the ultimate install script.
Okay, Genesis 1.1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, computationally.
Power on. System initialization. Booting the BIOS. Maybe God is just the term for the programmer, firing up the cosmic supercomputer.
There's that idea, simulation creationism, right? It basically says God's power is that kind of supercomputing tech.
Then verse 2, now the earth was formless and empty.
Sounds like a blank hard drive to me. No assets loaded, just the void, maybe a blinking cursor.
And the Spirit of God hovering over the waters.
Initial system check, like the POST sequence when you boot up your PC, making sure the basics are working.
Day 1. Let there be light. Okay, so monitor on. Gravit's engine starts up. Basic physics parameter. Light exists. True.
And it's light before the sun and moon, which is interesting. Theologically, sure, God can make light, but in simulation terms.
You define light in the code first, before you render the objects emitting the light. Makes sense.
Day 2. Separating the sky and water. That feels like rendering the skybox, setting atmospheric pressure, the environment map.
And isn't day 2 the only one not called good in some readings?
Yeah, it is. Maybe coding water physics was like really hard. Early rendering bugs. We still struggle with that stuff today.
Maybe. Day 3. Land and plants show up.
Loading terrain assets. Procedural generation, maybe. Installing Flora package version 1.0.
But wait, plants before the sun. How does that work? Photosynthesis?
Could be preloaded assets. Or maybe that initial day 1 light was enough. Or maybe the days aren't linear 24-hour things for the programmer. They're outside our time, right? Just logical coding stages.
That's a classic theological point, too. God's timescale being different. Yeah. Okay, day 4. Sun, moon, stars.
Now we render the main light sources. Set the final clock cycle, orbital mechanics, seasons. Lock in that 24-hour day.
Day 5. Fish and birds. Spawning the first NPCs, basically.
Yeah, you could almost imagine the code. Spawn entity type fish, quantity abundant.
Yeah, simple enough. Day 6. Land animals.
Yep.
And us, humans.
Terrestrial mobs loaded. And then the main event, loading the player characters. Or maybe very advanced AI agents, humans, made in his image.
What does that mean in SimSpeak? Consciousness, agency, self-awareness, the ability to mod the game.
Or maybe just like designated representatives, limited admin privileges to manage the Earth simulation.
And finally, day 7, God rested.
System stable, world gen complete. Hit run and watch it go.
Or maybe the 7th day isn't just stopping work. Maybe it's the goal. The perfect operational state, a perpetual Sabbath.
And that number 7, it pops up everywhere in the Bible. Could be a hard-coded constant signifying completion or perfection.
It's a wild thought. What if someone hit like Ctrl plus C during day 3's execution? Would we just have rocks and water?
Haha, maybe. Okay, so fast forward a bit in Genesis. Humanity, Well, it doesn't stay pristine for long. Chapter 6 says the Earth became corrupt, full of wickedness.
Sounds like Earth 1.0 got seriously buggy, like the simulation went sideways, rogue AI maybe, resource exploits.
Yeah, instability. Maybe the free will feature had unforeseen consequences. The developers are looking at it thinking, this version's a mess.
Time for the cosmic blue screen of death. A system wipe.
Pretty much. But then there's Noah, described as righteous.
His user account wasn't corrupted. Clean code. Follow the EULA.
Maybe. So God decides to save him, his family, and, the core biodiversity data.
Noah, the sysadmin, gets the memo. Reset imminent. Backup essential files.
And the tool for the backup? The Ark. Huge boat, specific instructions. Seems almost impossible logistically, doesn't it, fitting all those animals?
Yeah, people have tried to model it. It's tricky.
But what if the Ark isn't just a boat? What if it's like a divine USB stick? A massive external hard drive?
So Noah's not wrangling animals. He's running a backup script. Copying digital DNA. Fauna complete 1.0.tar.gz.
That's a fun analogy. And there's actual backup software called Noah 4. We talk about SQL backups, restoring game saves in ARK, Survival Ascended.
And that Noah's Ark problem in math. Preserving diversity with limited resources.
Exactly. If the universe is computable, finite, maybe an advanced intelligence could back it up.
Okay, so Noah finishes the backup, gets the data on the Ark drive, then the flood hits. 40 days and nights.
Sounds less like rain and more like...
Format C.
Yep. The Great Deluge deletion. Wiping the corrupted simulation. Removing the buggy AI.
And after the waters go down, Noah releases the animals.
Deploying the backed up data. Reinstalling the core assets onto the clean server. Earth 2.0 boots up. The 40 days might just be the format and reinstall time.
Which leads to that spooky question.
Yeah.
If it was a perfect wipe, would we even know? We just assume this is how it's always been.
Unless the wipe wasn't perfect. What about glitches? Deja vu, that feeling you've lived this moment before.
Fragments of the previous cycle bleeding through.
Could be. Or premonitions. Weirdly specific dreams.
Yeah.
Corrupted data packets from Earth 1.0 save states.
And what about all those flood myths? Almost every ancient culture has one. Coincidence.
Or echoes. Collective memory fragments the system wipe didn't quite erase.
Makes you wonder if history repeats itself because the error logs from Earth 1.0 got deleted. We keep making the same mistakes.
Some people even feel time is speeding up now. Are we nearing the end of another cycle, heading for another reset?
But the key is the selective backup, right? Noah, the righteous code, and the animals, the core assets. It wasn't random.
Exactly. It suggests a controlled demolition and reboot, not just a crash, saving the good bits, purging the bad.
Which implies the simulation isn't just running, it's being watched, curated. Simulation creationism sees it as research, right? The flood was a course correction.
Okay, so if the simulation can be reset, maybe it can be hacked. Can we find exploits, glitches, activate God mode?
Let's look at the Tower of Babel, Genesis 11. Everyone speaks one language. They team up to build this tower to the heavens.
Sounds ambitious, but God or the admins see it as a security risk. Like, if they can do this together, nothing will stop them.
So the fix. Confuse their languages. Project canceled. People scattered. A divine nerf.
Let's decode that. One language. Like a universal API. Seamless peer-to-peer collaboration. A massive distributed computing project.
And building the tower to the heavens. Trying to breach the simulation's limits. Access higher levels. Brute force the root password.
And the response. A security patch. Fragmenting the network by introducing incompatible languages. Breaking the universal API. Makes coordinated exploits way harder.
Basic sysadmin stuff. Isolate threats. Diversify the network. There's even that term, the Tower of Babel problem in data science for incompatible systems.
And it pops up in fiction too, right? Cyberpunk games, linking Babel to questioning reality.
So Babel highlights language as like a fundamental OS parameter.
Yeah.
Unity enabled an exploit. The patch was fragmentation.
Maybe linguistic diversity is a feature, not a bug. Deliberately maintained for stability. Prevent any one group getting too powerful.
Okay, different kind of event. Moses parting the Red Sea, Exodus 14. Israelites trapped, Egyptians coming. Moses lifts his staff, water splits, they escape.
How do we read that in sim terms? Option 1, admin command.
Like Moses got temporary root access. Part water command. Direct developer intervention for a critical quest objective.
Option 2, a massive physics glitch. Water physics engine just broke. Collision detection failed. Needed a reboot.
Gamers joke about the Red Sea glitch in sports games when AI just moves out of the way inexplicably.
Yeah. Either way, it feels like the normal rules got suspended for the narrative. Scripted event or admin help.
And this isn't the only weirdness. Miracles in general. Jesus turning water to wine, healing, walking on water, manna from heaven.
Could be temporary physics overrides, glitches, or the devs using debug tools. Maybe Jesus had root access, executing special functions via prayer.
What a prophecy. Seeing the future.
Getting a sneak peek at the game script, accessing future event logs, prophets as beta testers with developer notes, or maybe they found an exploit to read protected memory. Spoilers.
It suggests reality isn't totally fixed. The rules can bend, or be bent.
Let's talk about the non-human characters, angels and demons. Angels first, messengers, servants of God like Gabriel or Michael.
And demons. Fallen angels, malevolent spirits, Satan, Lucifer, causing trouble.
How do they fit the simulation model? Angels could be benevolent helper scripts, AI assistants, maybe entities from a higher simulation level popping in. Their sudden appearances fit that.
Simulation creationists would suggest they exist outside and just take temporary simulated bodies.
Yeah. And demons, they feel like malware, viruses, corrupted code causing instability, rogue AI maybe, exploits from old versions.
Hindering users, exploiting vulnerabilities, like Laplace's demon, but, you know, evil.
So it's like stable code versus corrupted code, intended processes versus exploits.
And maybe angels and demons are an interface layer between the base code developers and us, like APIs or system demons, executing divine will or introducing bugs.
Interesting. What about symbols and rules? That number 7 again. Creation week, arc details, menorah branches, revelation stuff, forgiveness, 7 times 70.
It's everywhere. Maybe it is a hard-coded constant.
Yeah.
Signifying completion, perfection. Matches the Hebrew meaning too.
And the tree of knowledge in Eden. We kind of saw that as forbidden data access, clicking rootaccess.exe, fundamentally changing user permissions.
The big rules. The 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not.
Sounds exactly like the simulation's EULA. The server rules, break them, face consequences, bad karma, negative status effects, maybe even a ban.
Which brings us back to the ultimate question. Who's running the show? Who's the programmer? Is God the coder?
Well, simulation creationism, as we said, literally frames God as the programmer using a supercomputer for research. God's power is the tech.
And Bostrom's argument is more statistical, right?
Yep.
If sims are possible, there are likely tons of them, so we're probably in one. Our simulators would seem godlike.
Yeah. And you get into nested realities. Philosophical arguments for God start sounding computational. The cosmological argument becomes the infinite computer, the design argument, the first designer.
Of course, people push back. They say it's just tech-flavored theism. It's unfalsifiable, maybe self-defeating, clashes with traditional religious doctrines about a personal God, inherent reality, human value.
And it often borrows religious language, doesn't it? Materialist spirituality, some call it.
Plus, who says the simulators are godlike? Could be a bored teenager in the metaverse basement. Or us, from the future, running historical sims.
Or maybe the universe is computational, but there's no designer, just emergent complexity.
It seems like we always frame the creator using our current tech understanding. Now it's computation and AI. Modern myths for ancient questions.
The quest for answers just takes new forms.
Okay, let's make it personal. If this is a simulation, what about free will? Are my choices real? Or am I just a really complex NPC following a script?
Oof. Yeah, that's the big one. It definitely echoes old debates about predestination, doesn't it? If we're programmed, does the programmer control our fate? Does an omniscient God simulator already know everything we'll do?
Simulation creationism even views free will as like a predetermined learning experience.
But maybe it's not that simple. Could consciousness, could real free will actually emerge from a complex enough simulation, even if it wasn't the original intent?
Bostrom thinks consciousness isn't tied just to biology, right? Could arise from computation, so maybe our feeling of agency is real, just within the simulation's rules.
Like an open-world RPG. You feel free, but you can't walk off the edge of the map, you know? The game has boundaries. Maybe consciousness itself is a kind of simulation, the brain modeling the world. The line gets blurry.
Does it even matter day to day? If I fall in love or stub my toe, does knowing it might be simulated change the feeling? Is the subjective meaning different?
That's the existential question, isn't it? Which leads to the final logout. Death. Game over. Fade to black.
Or something else. Transfer. Upload.
This is where sci-fi and theology really merge. Consciousness uploading. Digital afterlives. Black Mirror. Upload. Could heaven and hell just be different servers? Resurrection as reloading a save state, instantiating on a new level?
But then you hit that massive problem. Continuity of consciousness. If they upload me, Is it really me? Or just a perfect copy, like in that show Pantheon. If the original brain dies, did I survive?
And what about the soul? Can you digitize a soul? Or does uploading just create a soulless copy, a philosophical zombie? If the soul is non-physical, the upload is just code.
But if consciousness is the self, the information pattern, maybe the copy is a valid continuation.
It forces you to ask, what is the self? Body, memories, awareness, soul. Uploading shatters physical continuity. If you make a perfect copy, which one is real? If you destroy the original?
Wow. Yeah, simulation theory makes these really old questions feel urgent again. If reality is information, maybe consciousness is transferable, like game save files or server transfers.
But the philosophical weight, the mystery of identity and the soul, it's still immense. Simulation theory offers new metaphors, but maybe not final answers.
Okay, wow. That was a lot. We went pretty far down the rabbit hole there. Genesis is boot up, Noah's Ark is a USB drive.
Eden as beta testing, Babel as a patch. Yeah, definitely some weird connections.
So just to kind of wrap our heads around it, maybe a quick cheat sheet mapping the Bible stuff to the SimGeek analogies.
Good idea. Let's run through it quickly. Genesis creation, system boot sequence, OS install, world generation.
A Eve, advanced AI, first player characters, beta testers.
Garden of Eden, the Sandbox, tutorial level, protected zone.
Forbidden fruit tree of knowledge, that's root access. Forbidden data, source code maybe.
The Fall, sentience bug report. Or a feature unlock followed by a nerf.
Noah, he's the sysadmin. Backup operator.
The Ark, data backup device, external server, a giant .zip file.
The Flood, system reset, server wipe, format C reinstall.
Tower of Babel, network exploit attempt, API breach. Then the language patch.
Moses parts Red Sea. Admin command, like part water. Or a physics glitch.
Miracles in general. Dave tools, debug mode, physics suspension, root access.
Prophecy, reading the game script, accessing future logs. Spoilers.
Angels, helper scripts, benevolent AI, admin assistants, maybe higher level entities.
Demons, malware, viruses, rogue AI, corrupted code, exploits.
And God, the architect, lead programmer, the simulator, base reality AI.
Number 7, divine constant, core system parameter, completion code.
Keep that list handy next time you read these stories. Might see some code.
So just to recap, creation is code, Noah's backup, Babel's patch, Moses admin command, angels demons is script malware, God is programmer.
It's a framework, a lens to look through.
Does thinking this way, this whole bid matrix idea, does it change anything for you? Make the texts more relevant? Or just weirder? Is it the ultimate conspiracy or just a fun thought experiment?
It is strange how simulation theory keeps using religious language, though, isn't it? Creators, purpose, transcendence, resurrection.
Maybe the simulation is designed to make us ask these questions.
Yeah.
Maybe the glitches are features, nudging us to look deeper.
So what do you think, glitch seekers? Have you spotted any biblical code running in your reality? Seen any divine or demonic NPCs lately? Did your burning bush render properly?
Yeah, share your own reality glitches, your theories, your interpretations of this. Glitchy Gospel. Use the hashtag NPC Energy. Did we miss any key exploits, any cheat codes?
Let us know what you think.
Until next time, keep questioning the code, watch out for those patches, and try not to get reset. And hey, if you are human, share, rate, follow NPC Energy. Prove it.